Children, you're welcome to today's session. I hope you recall last time we discussed trade, in particular slave trade. In here, I want to remind you about trade, other aspects of trade, then we shall proceed. We are going to use some technology that you'll actually love. Here I'll start. There we go, children. That one is trade. I hope you're seeing it. That one is trade. Last time we discussed trade and we mentioned many meanings of trade. For instance, one, trade is the buying and selling of goods. We said trade is the buying and selling of goods. In the next definition of meaning, we said this. Trade is the buying and selling of goods or services with the aim of making profits. In here, this aspect of aim of making profits adds onto the other. So children, let's also see some other aspect in here. That is caravan trade and long distance trade. Quite often people misinterpret that. They think that these things are two different. But in this talk here, we want to see how caravan trade and long distance trade can be interrelated. Let's see this. Caravan trade. I hope you recall that caravan trade is called so because the traders were moving in caravans or large groups. Yet in this long distance trade, it was called so because the same traders of caravan trade were moving for long distances from the coast of East Africa to the interior. Now look at the interrelationship. When we talk of caravan trade, we are actually meaning the same traders of long distance trade. Equally, when we talk of long distance trade, we are meaning the same traders of caravan trade. How similar were they? Look at this. The goods that they dealt in were the same. Their area of origin was the same. Their area of getting the goods was the same. I hope you can see the guns in there. You can see slaves in there. You can see mirrors and ivory. Look at this again. The guns, mirrors were coming from overseas, while slaves and ivory were coming from the interior of Africa towards the coast. Children, let's proceed. Trade items or goods involved in long distance trade or caravan trade. I hope at this level we now can take long distance trade just like caravan trade. So what were the goods involved? Let's see from Africa or from the interior of Africa. Which goods were involved? One, slaves. I hope you can see the word slaves coming in style. Say another style. Guess what that is? What's that? Guess. Ivory. That's ivory, children. Another item. Guess what's that? Valuable minerals like gold. And the last one in here is animal hides and skins. On the other wing, we're having goods from Asia to the interior of Africa. Those goods bounced in here, quite many of them. One, guns. What do you think the second one? Mirrors. Next, ornaments or jewels like bangles, beads, necklaces, and also we can't forget clothes. Children, those are major items that were traded in as far as long distance trade is concerned, same as caravan trade. What do you think our next item is? Is another aspect, that is transatlantic trade. We can as well call it triangular trade. In this transatlantic trade, that can as well call triangular trade, we are seeing three areas, that is North America here, we're also seeing Europe there, we can also see Africa here. But within Africa, the particular area of concern is West Africa, this region here of West Africa. I hope by now if I use a pointer, you can see. The area of West Africa here is what we're concerned with. Then America, we're concerned with North America and part of South America. Then Europe. So these 3 points, 1, 2, 3, constitute something like a triangle. I hope you are seeing some triangular form or shape in here. So this triangular shape makes us call this triangular trade. But it's the same as transatlantic trade. All this here is the Atlantic Ocean, and the trade was transacted across the ocean. So the name transatlantic trade comes in force. Children, I want to move a little bit away, and then we proceed forth. Let's proceed forth. Look at this. The meaning of triangular trade or transatlantic trade. What's that based on the meaning based on the explanation I gave earlier on? You could say trade, it was the trade long ago that involved Africa, Europe, and America across the Atlantic Ocean. We could as well say trade that was carried out among the three continents of Africa, Europe, and America. That aspect of was tells that it's not a recent aspect, it's something from the past. You can as well say trade in which Africa, Europe, and America traded across the Atlantic Ocean. So you can choose any of those. You can as well create your own meaning of triangular trade or transatlantic trade. Let's carry on. What were the routes? In the other map, we saw the routes, and now we want to comprehend the routes. We shall use circles to stand for continents because we saw the continents earlier on. Let's see the first one. That's North America. Let's see the next one. That's Europe, and then Africa. So those three, we're going through those three to understand the trade routes. We want to come up with 5 trade routes. 5 trade routes. Look at route number 1. I want to repeat. You see route number 1 is from Africa to North America. Let me point. From Africa to North America, we are seeing route number 1. Children, that's route number 1. And that route, like we shall emphasize later on, it mainly transported slaves. Mainly slaves. Look at the next one. We shall call that route number 2. Please look at that route. It's route 2. It's from North America to Europe. That route mainly transported agricultural products like tobacco, like sugar, but those products were in raw form. They were purified from Europe because Europe was the workshop of the world at that time. Europe had quite an industry in the world at that time. Look at another arrow, another route. That route, I want to see the route again. That route is from Africa to Europe. That route from Africa to Europe was quite taking raw materials. It was taking raw materials such as gold, such as timber, such as ivory. So the similarity between this route that I'm indicating as route 3 and that route that I'm indicating as route 2, similarity is those routes were taking raw materials to Europe. Raw materials to Europe. I now want to call in another form of route. Look at it. Repeat. Look at that route. It's from Europe to Africa. The route is from Europe to Africa. Just like that route is from Europe to America. So, route, that first, that fourth one, and route 5th, all come from Europe. What's the meaning? They all come from the same point, right? They also take or transport the same type of goods. They transport manufactured goods. They transport manufactured goods. For instance, we talked of raw materials from North America, raw materials from Africa. Those same raw materials are processed from Europe and taken back to those continents as products of industries, as finished goods. Children shall proceed forth to see the particular route, the particular items. Let's carry on. Trade items or goods in transatlantic trade. What were the items or goods in transatlantic trade? Let's see this. 1. Goods from Africa to Europe. We saw that route from Africa to Europe. What were the goods from Africa to Europe? In here, we shall have the diagram and the corresponding name. Item 1, hides. Hides were got from Africa to Europe. Equally, skins, especially of beautiful animals, were got from Africa to Europe. So hides and skins happens to be one of the goods that was got from Africa to Europe during the transatlantic trade or the triangular trade. Item 2 is ivory. I hope we know the difference between ivory and elephant tusks. You must have gone through that in your P5 and P6 work. So equally, ivory was transported, was an item of trade from Africa to Europe in transatlantic trade. What next? Timber. Africa was a source of wonderful timber, of good timber, that was quite transported to Europe. What next? Children, that's gold. Gold in one big bulk, but also gold can be in pieces of that kind. So gold equally was transported, was traded, was taken from Africa to Europe during the transatlantic trade. See these children. Slaves. You've understood slaves very well. Slave trade and slavery in the first talk. Therefore, slaves were the main item of trade from Africa to America. I hope you recall that from Africa to America, we had one route. That route was taking slaves. America to Europe, we had one, cotton. Remember, the slaves were taken to America to work on plantations. So cotton was one of the products, was one of the agricultural products taken from America to Europe to be processed. Next, sugar. I want to repeat that this sugar was in its crude form. You can see the color. It was in its crude form. So it was taken to Europe for further purification. Then they would consume it later. Also, we had tobacco. Tobacco was grown widely in America and taken to Europe for transportation, for processing.